Hello everyone, what is going on? So today I actually went pretty decently at my locals. I actually went 2 wins, 2 losses, which is only mid, I know, but I came super close to actually winning that third game. I just had to go get into battle phase, being able to attack, but I kind of ran out of time mid combo, so I was still main phase, wasn't able to do any burn damage, but came really close. And that deck that I was playing was BlackWings, and I kind of wanted to just show it off. So I guess let's just get into it. So I'm starting off with 3 copies of Simoon Poison Wind. Essentially, as your main starter, you want 3 of him right away, because you can, as long as you have no monsters on the field, you can place a Black Whirlwind directly from your deck into your spell trap zone, and then immediately after this resolves, you can normal summon him. So you're getting a search with Black Whirlwind right away, right off of his effect, right from the get-go. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Blackwing Sudri the Phantom Glimmer. This is normally the main card you're searching off of that Black Whirlwind. And on his normal summon, you're also going to get a search of a card that mentions Black Winged Dragon in its text. So it's a really good 2 card to kind of get 2 searches right off of 1 normal summon. Then of course you got to play 3 copies of Blackwing Vada. Vada is like the card you're probably searching off of your Sudri. He's just a free special summon, so as long as you control a Blackwing monster, you can special summon him. And what's really good is his effect is being able to send himself plus 1 or 2 other cards from your deck that equal 8, and then you can bring out Blackwing Dragon. And even if that effect gets negated in some way, you still have a free level 2 tuner, which is really good in this deck. Then I played 3 copies of Blackwing Boreal Spear. I know some people only play 1 or even 2, but it's a free special summon that's a non-once per turn on a special summon. And if you even have to, battle phase, you're doing piercing battle damage on a 1700 attack monster. It's still pretty good, and it's a free level 4 as well. So it's really good going into some link plays, or even some rank 4 engines in the deck as well. Then I'm playing 2 copies of Blackwing Shamal the Sandstorm. I like having 2, 3 ends up being too many because it ends up being a little too bricky, I think. But having 2 is perfect because it's a good way to send him to get your Black Feather Whirlwind, or it's a pretty easy level 4 tuner that you can go to make some Synchro 8 plays, which works really well, so having 2 is just perfect for me. I think this card is actually pretty slept on. Blackwing the Waning Moon, because it's as long as there is a monster on the field with 2000 or more attack, you can special summon this card from the hand. It doesn't have to be your field. If your opponent has already made their plays and they have a boss monster out, most likely it's going to have more than 2000 attack, so you can at least start off with a special summon of this card. It doesn't even have to be a Blackwing. And again, a level 2 tuner is really useful in the deck. The other thing that kind of gets slept on a little bit is the fact that if you have control of Blackwing Synchro monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard to pop a card on the field. So it's an easy, quick effect destruction, and it banishes for cost, so things like Called by the Grave doesn't even interrupt this card. I'm playing 1 copy of Blackwings Onto the Dusk. This card does lock you into synchro summons, but when this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard to special summon any level 5 or higher Blackwing monster from your deck, just so you can have another Blackwing monster on the field is really good. But the only downside is that you take damage equal to the monster that you summoned, but with Blackwing Dragon on the field, you'll not take any of that damage anyway. The other good thing about this card is the fact that most people also kind of forget about with this is that if this card is special summoned, you can target a card your opponent controls and bounce that card back to the hand. So getting a free bounce, it's not often that you're special summoning this card, but getting a free bounce is actually still pretty good. Then playing 1 copy of Blackwing Roshi. He's literally just there because he's a free special summon, again, if you control a Blackwing monster, and he's a level 1 tuner. So he's being used to make your Red Dragon Arch Being of Abyss. Then we're going to Blackwing Gale's Whirlwind, a level 3 tuner, again on a free special summon. And especially going into battle phase, having the ability to target a monster to bring its attack down to half is a good way to go for some good damage really well. This one doesn't come up as often, but Hamat in the Dust is another free special summon as long as you control a Blackwing monster. He's more used with the combo with Vata to send him to the graveyard as one of the 2 and then another level 4 to get your Blackwing Dragon, but he's a free summon if need be as well. Speaking of Vata, one of the main cards you're kind of going into is Zephyros the Elite. Zephyros is a really good, you can just bounce a card to your hand to then special summon him, you then take 400 damage, but like 400 damage is not even that bad. And 2, you're normally going to already have Blackwing Dragon on the field, so that card is going to eat the damage anyway, so you're not even going to take damage from that anyway. So once per duel, but that's why you only play 1, so it's a really good card to get a free level 4 on the field really easily. Then I play 1 copy of Blackwing Chinook Snowblast. A very convoluted hand trap, but essentially you send this card from the hand to the graveyard, send a Blackwing Synchro monster from the deck to the graveyard, and then target a monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and it loses 700 attack. And basically you want to send one of your tuner Synchro monsters so you can set up your other plays later in the game. And then I have one of the Phantom Knight support cards in here. I chose to go with Phantom Knight of Ancient Cloak, because he searches any Phantom Knight card, not just Phantom Knight monsters. When you get into your Rusty Barish plays, he's the only target you want to send, because then you can search any of your other Phantom Knight spells or traps. It's really easy to go into him. He's basically just there to play with the Phantom Knight, and that's it for the main engine for the monsters. The only other monster I play is Ash Blossom, because you have to have Ash in your deck. You just need it. Like, it's just the main combo stopper for anything in the game. And if it comes down to it, still a level 3 tuner. Level 3 is kind of hard to get into with this deck, but still having a tuner on the field if you absolutely needed it is absolutely ideal. So that's what I'm playing for the monsters. Let's start introducing the spells. For the spells, playing, of course, 3 copies of Black Whirlwind. This is your main card. If you have all 3 of them on the field and you normal summon a Blackwing monster, you gotta search with all 3 of them because they're a continuous spell. So they're one of the main cards you absolutely need 3 of in this deck. Then I'm only playing 1 copy of Black Featherworld piece. It does let you special summon one of your Blackwing monsters that is banished or in your graveyard back onto the field if you synchro summon. And this card is searchable off of the Shamal the Sandstorm, so that's why with 2 with this, then you have the 1 in the deck. It's just the perfect ratio, I find. Then I played 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. It's a good draw too. I think that the fact that, especially since you're banishing with your Simoon Poison Wind, and then you can also get one of the banished cards back onto your field with the Black Feather Whirlwind, it's definitely more ideal. I think the draw 2 is better. I don't like playing Pot of Extravagance or Pot of Prosperity in this deck because I think the extra deck is too tight to have to worry about banishing any of your extra deck. So having just getting rid of one of your dark monsters to get a draw 2 is just so much more ideal, I find, for this deck. Then playing 2 copies of Triple Tactic Talent. It's just really easy because you are probably going to get a hand trapped in the game. You're going to get negated in some way. So having some way to kind of like recoup your plays a little bit is definitely ideal. The draw 2 is really good tied with the Allure of Darkness, but I actually used it for the look at your opponent's hand effect most often. Then I was just main decking 1 copy of Harvey's Feather Duster. My locals like Rescue Ace, Labyrinth, Trap Trick, a lot of people like playing those type of decks, so those back row heavy decks. So having a copy of Duster is really useful, especially since most of the cards in the extra deck, most of the cards in the deck focus around dealing with monster effects. So having at least 1 card in the main deck to get rid of some of the back row is definitely ideal. And then the final spell I played was just 1 Called by the Grave. It's definitely kind of needed, I think, especially with things like Ash Blossom and Drone Lockbird being quite popular right now, and it's a really good negate against this deck. Having the Called by is actually useful. In one of the games, it actually came up really well for me because I was playing against the Dragon Link deck, and they played Heavenly Spears where it tributed itself. It called by the Heavenly Spears, so therefore negated it. It helped out super clutch in that last little moment there. So yeah, that's it for the spells, and then just gonna go on to the traps. For the traps, keeping it simple, 3 copies of Imperm. You need to get that negate in, or the spell trap negate if you have it set down first. Very common. And then I only play 2 other cards for my traps, and they're both part of my Phantom Knight engine. 1 copy of Shade Brigandine. This is going to be part of with Rusty Bardiche, being able to set this to get a free level 4 on the field. That as long as you don't have a trap in the graveyard, which not playing many traps, you can play this right away. And then, honestly, in my opinion, one of the better trap negates that there is in the game Phantom Knight Fogblade. It's so generic, it just targets, negate, and the monster cannot attack, and I can't attack the monster either, but you can easily pop it in this deck too. So having the negate on the field is super useful, and it's searchable in the deck with the Phantom Knight engine. So having one copy of Fogblade is really good. So that's it for the main deck. Let's go and show you the extra deck. For the extra deck, I'm only playing one copy of BlackWing Dragon. The main reason I only play one is because you're basically summoning this out just to be for the attribute of 8 dragon, and it's really easy to bring out of the deck. Having more than one, it's good, you could, but I also only have one, so I only play one. Very simple. Then playing 2 copy of BlackWing Assault Dragon. Just super easy to bring this card out. Level 10s are pretty easy to go into. Plus with the alternative summoning condition of being able to just banish BlackWing Dragon with a tuner synchro monster from the graveyard to bring it out is really easy. And just getting 700 burn per monster effect, if you have both of them out, 1400 burn is really good. Then going 2 copies, BlackWing Full Armor Master, just really useful to have, especially like if you're going first, you break up a little bit. Having him in defense, a 3000 defense monster that's unaffected by their card effects, it's really good to kind of just hold your opponent at bay for a little bit. Plus having the counters on your opponent's monsters, then eventually be able to take control of them to use for whatever you need, or just to destroy it if you just want to get rid of it, is just really good. I find Black Armor Master is just super strong. Then I have 1 copy of BlackWing Nothing the Starlight. He's a good card to go either if you need your additional normal summon to then prompt off the Black Whirlwinds to get for your normal summon to start comboing off again, or just when this card is summoned, you can target an opponent's monster. It loses 800 attack, which is good, again, for the battle phase extra damage. Plus, it does the 800 damage to your opponent as well. So if you're going into time, if you can just get this card out on the field and your opponent has a field out, just do a little bit of burn damage. Hopefully that is just enough to kind of, instead of Cowboy for game, go Nothing for game, I guess. Then we're playing 1 copy of BlackWing Borrelstorm Wicked Wind. I honestly don't even bring this card out that often. It's normally just my main target for sending with Chinook the Snowblast because he's the tuner to send to the graveyard. And with the BlackWing on the field, you can then banish both to bring out your Assault Dragon. And that's kind of it for the main like BlackWing monsters in the extra deck. Then we're just going into some of the Red Dragon Archfiend stuff, actually. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. It's in a way an Omni Negate, not quite. It's an on-field Omni Negate because you can basically once per turn target a card on the field, so it's spell, trap, or monster, and just to get a negate. So it's really easy with the BlackWing Dragon already on field, and then you can special summon the Roshi, synchro those 2 away to go into Archfiend. Super easy play to get a good negate and a good beat stick on the field as well. Now this is where it alters a little bit compared to most BlackWing decks. I'm playing 1 copy of the new Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend and regular Red Dragon Archfiend. When this card leaves the field, if it was used as a synchro material, you can wipe all attack position monsters your opponent controls. So it's a free Raigeki in the deck. And then you bring out Red Dragon Archfiend just by itself. Speaking of the Red Dragon Archfiend, gotta finish it off with the Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. It's just a really good going second card, because then you're just basically turning off all of your opponent's effects. They just can't even do anything to respond to it, so it's a good Calamity lock. And then you're left with a good 4k beat stick, so you just want to go, if you can go to battle phase and just beat over, just to do a good amount of damage, definitely can't complain about that. And it's actually really easy to bring out in this deck, especially since you have a hard level 2 tuner that's free special summon, another level 2 tuner that's another free special summon, so with your 8 and 2 and 2, you're easily getting this out. And then finally, to round out the synchro monsters, 1 copy of Borderlord Savage Dragon. It's just really easy to bring this out. Again, 8 is pretty easy to go into this deck. Again, 3k, and you get an Omni Negate with him once you get the counters on. So it's just a good card, and I finally just got this card recently, so I just had to play it out, and it works actually quite well. And then for the Link monsters, 1 copy of Wystrix. Wystrix is just 2 Darkwing Beasts, which is, it doesn't matter the level, just 2 Darkwing Beasts. Easy, super easy to bring out. And then with this card, you can bring out any level 4 Darkwing Beast monster, which is exactly why I play 2 copies of Shamal, because you can special summon Shamal. It's a level 4 tuner. It can't be used as link material, but that's not even that big of a deal because you have that plus any other level 4 brings you your Savage Dragon. So it's a really good way to build up your board. And then, as I kind of already mentioned slightly before, one more link monster of the Rusty Badish. Rusty, once you have White on the field, your 2 tuners, and any other dark monster, it's really easy because you go into 4 for Savage Dragon, and then 1 more to go into Rusty, so then you can combo into attaching Strix to get two counters on Savage Dragon. So these 3 cards are definitely a perfect kind of playmaker together. They play really well together. And then finally, basically because of the fact that we were playing Rusty Badish, going into 1 copy of Time Thief Redoer, because as I said, going into any level 4s, hence one of the reasons why I'm playing 3 copies of Boreal Spear, easy to bring out, and 1 card of Shade Brigandine is your easy copy of Time Thief Redoer, and then you get your pop by summoning him into one of the corners of Rusty Badish. And the fact that you have a trap as one of the materials with Time Thief Redoer, you can target one of your cards your opponent controls and just place it on top of the deck. So it's just for cards that can't be destroyed by battle or anything like that, just placing it on top of the deck is a really good thing to do with Time Thief. So that's why I like playing this little version of it. It's just more easy, more playable, more common to go into instead of trying to do the DDD lock where you're ranking up. It's just, I know that's the more tournament ready version, but it's just a lot harder to get into. So going into a simple rank 4 play is just much easier for me. So that's it for the extra deck. Before we finish this off, I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of my side deck that I played with me. Now the side deck, you can add any card you want. This is just what I happen to play. There's a couple cards that I think are pretty ideal, but just playing 3 Veiler to switch out for the Ash if they're not searching too many cards. 1 Lightning Storm if you're going second. Again, some going second cards with Raigeki just to kind of break some boards. More board breakers with 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. And then these are the ones I kind of think are kind of ideal because it is a combo deck. Playing 2 Crossout Designator with a Droll and Lockbird, Nibiru, and DD Crow. So you have 2 copies with the Crossout, and then the main targets that people will be playing, so you can get rid of some of the main board breaker and the main kind of negate that people use against you in this deck. And that's my version of my Blackwing deck. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, let me know in a comment down below. And maybe leave a suggestion for something else I can maybe add into this deck that would make it run a little bit more better. And while you're down there, if you like me or the content that I make, maybe hit the like button and subscribe. It will definitely help me out. Other than that, I had fun. Hopefully you did as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.